To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Reverend Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Reverend Sean, the Rev, and welcome to my haunted house. My very haunted house. It's been quite active lately, and we will discuss that a little bit in the show today. I want to start off with a quick little house blessing and then a quick prayer that I'm going to bring on my two very special guests, and we're going to have some fun. So remember, if there's anything you want to comment on, there's going to be a chat room. If there's anything you'd like to ask anything of myself or my guests, that's the place to do it. Talk amongst yourselves. You're among family there, like-minded people, make some friends. So that's what this is all about. My little blessing, my house blessing first, is for a family, the Shannon family. They have relocated here recently from none other than the Emerald Isle, Ireland. And they just got a home, and they reached out to me and asked me to do a little house blessing live on air for them in their new home. And so I have a surprise for them, and that's this. It is the St. Bridget cross. And I recommend everybody, if you've got a little Irish in you or not, purchase a really nice St. Bridget cross, have it blessed, hang it above your front door on the inside of the door where you would normally hang a horseshoe. I promise you, you'll have phenomenal luck in your home. So this blessing is for the Shannon family. Name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. May Bridget bless the house wherein you dwell. Bless every fireside, every wall and door. Bless every heart that beats beneath its roof. Bless every hand that toils to bring it joy. Bless every foot that walks its portals through. May Bridget bless the house that shelters you. Amen. And that goes out to the Shannon family. Welcome to America. This next prayer is a beautiful prayer. I love it. And I can't remember the last time I've offered up a prayer for each and every one of you. So that's what I'm going to do today. This prayer is for each and every one of you within the sound of my voice, because I love you all, and you all have been so supportive over the Rev in his ministry work. Thank you very much. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, hanging on the cross, I raise sorrowful and shameful eyes to you. You have granted me untold blessings, and I have repaid you by contributing to your passion and death. My hands took part in your scourging. My voice was among those who denied you and called for your death. My thoughts brought about your crowning with thorns. My sins drove the nails into your hands and feet, and the lance into your side. Dear Lord, forgive me for all these sins. You are great, glorious, and infinitely good. I am insignificant, selfish, and hopelessly sinful, but I am sorry for all my sins, and by the blood shed in your passion, I beg for forgiveness and for a share in your love and grace. Amen. All right, guys. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And while you're there, remember that my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click it and send in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts, and we will put it to good use, I assure you. In addition to being an ordained exorcist, I am also a certified spiritual advisor, intuitive coach. If you have issues of a spiritual nature, not necessarily attached to the paranormal, and you would like to make an appointment to speak to the Rev about that sort of stuff, you can do that at the website. Don't leave without navigating back over to the page entitled the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find the ghost store, and you'll see cool things in there like this throwback ghostbegone.biz coffee cup, t-shirts like the one hanging behind me, if you go for that sort of stuff. But scroll down a little bit, and you'll run into my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, a true story inspired by spirit and divine intervention. And I quote, the scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. Part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and that is a beautiful thing. And big announcement today, I've added a new charity to that cause, and that is the ASPCA. I've been in the animal care industry almost all my life, and it was a no-brainer to add them to that. So if you like all the little furry critters, you're helping them too. Scroll down a little bit further, you'll see the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I am a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college-level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSE. If you're a spiritual warrior, a warrior for Christ, you feel you have a calling to want to know more about what it really takes to draw your line in the sand and make a stand and put up a good fight against true evil, God forbid if it ever comes calling, that's the course for you. Everybody that graduates gets a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, along with some very wonderful, blessed items from yours truly that you can only get from the Rev. You can enroll in the course there at the website, or you can go to the Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page and read a little bit more about the course if you'd like. But please keep all of my former, current, and future students in your prayers. Thank you very much. All right, 2 guests today, and I've got 3 more special guests waiting in the green room, having a little bite to eat, something to drink, relaxing. They'll be here when I get around to bringing them on. But first, I'd like to bring on, he's a friend, very talented, one of the most talented individuals I know, an authority on all things supernatural. He's a producer. He's the co-host and co-creator of Unexplained Cases. Just a cool dude. Please welcome to the show, Rick Garner. Are you with us, Rick?
Hey.
Whoa.
What is up?
Whoa.
What is up?
There you are.
Yes, here I am. There you are.
Let me bring Adrian on real quick, and I'll tell you guys something about where I am. My next guest to join the 3 of us right now, another friend, another one of the most talented women I know, very passionate about this thing we call, I don't even know what it is we do. We're in the paranormal, under the paranormal umbrella, whatever it is we do. She's part of Desert Heart Paranormal, founder, co-founder of that, co-owner of the Paranormal United Network. And the list goes on and on. She's my producer, thank God. I mean, and you fill in for her all the time too. So I got a little panicky here at first. 2 producers, a little panicky, but I figured, this guy, it has to be a good thing.
Brothers, you're double covered.
And I need double covering. Never mind. Please welcome to the show, brothers and sisters, the one and only Adrian Hart. Adrian, are you there?
Adrian!
Whoa.
Hey.
Whoa. Rick, how long has it been since you and I have been in a 3-way?
It's
whoa.
I think this would be the first. So,
whoa.
Actually, you're the meat in this paranormal sandwich. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, it's all about how it's structured. See, this is what happens when you put up the shutters like this. So that's
I'm going to ask Adrian real quick and this is now it's going to annoy people when you pan out and just have me there and then bring the 3 of us back on. It's going to annoy people. But can you pan out just real quick and put me on there, Adrian? Is that possible?
You want to remove the other 2?
I want to remove the other 2, whoever those 2 are on the left and right. I want to remove them. Okay, just real quick before I bring everybody back on. Now I realize it's not going to work. I left my office door open so people can see if someone peeks around the door or walks by, or the shadow figure that's seen all the time in the master bedroom, which is right across the hall. Because night before last, Sharon wakes up from a nap, goes into the kitchen to make dinner, and I decide to walk in on her and give her a startle and go, "What's going on in here?" And it did startle her, and she turned around, and I wasn't there because I was at work. The following night, I'm sitting there, everybody's asleep, and I'm watching TV in my recliner, and I hear a woman crying on my left. I think it's Sharon. I look, she's sound asleep, and then my rocker starts rocking. I thought it was an earthquake, but it wasn't. So something has sparked some activity. That's why I left the door open, but I figure every once in a while Adrian can pop back and show the full screen. Maybe we might catch something. Otherwise than that, please, my friends, join me once again.
Yeah, and see, I was going to say,
oh my,
she has options, bro. So I mean, you know, she's a crazy
Adrian,
producer. So
I love you, Adrian. You're just like, I don't know what to say. Anyway,
she's fabulous.
So now, keep looking at that.
I will say, if either one of these doors move, it is nothing paranormal. So just so that's my cat, probably. So we'll go ahead and establish that right now.
Okay.
Nothing paranormal.
Well, listen, I want you two both to feel free to talk to each other, ask each other any questions. But let me start with you real quick, Rick. I want to give you an update on my appearance on your show, Unexplained Cases. I believe it was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
First, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me on the show.
Absolutely.
One of the best shows, best interviews I can ever remember doing. I loved being on the show. I've had so many people reach out to me that either watched it that night or went back and watched the archive. And people, you can catch the archives at youtube.com/unexplained cases. All their archived episodes are there. You had a psychic on that not only clarified to me why my wife and I are so attached to that home that we talked about and the property there. And I'm so on board with everything that she had to say because, you know, I had chicken skin all up and down my arms and all the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and she was telling me all these things. So that's how I knew it was legit. But your other very talented psychic who drew 2 paintings or 2 pictures. One was a painting because it had some color. One was the dark man in the hat that she visioned walking the property. So I reached out to the landscaper of that property who had been the landscaper there for years and years and years. And he did indeed verify that, yes, he has seen that figure all over that property. Wow. For a long time. So that's validation there. 2, because of what I do, and I'm always juggling a handful of cases, and then there's cases on a list longer than my arm of people waiting for me to get back to them, most of them dark, malevolent in nature. So I get a lot of what I call paranormal drive-bys here at the home. Some people in my field call them recon blasts. But there's something to dragging these disgusting creatures out from under the rock they live and shining some love and light on them, whether you know their name or know what their mission is or know who sent them, that doesn't matter. But the fact that she drew the painting of what we believe is the demon that is attached to me, I haven't had nothing in terms of knock on wood of those types of drive-bys or recon blasts at my home since that night. There has to be something to that. So if you talk to your psychic, tell her I thank her very much. Both your psychics were right on. I had a great time. So now I would like you to have an opportunity to talk a little about your show, what it means to you, what you bring to the table, where people can watch it, maybe who your next guest is going to be. All of that good stuff, buddy.
All that good stuff. Well, in short, Unexplained Cases, we're basically what I like to refer to as a docu-series. where we started out, as you mentioned before, on YouTube. We were just episodics, and so we're documenting paranormal cases. And of course, ghosts are bread and butter, as we like to say, just because hauntings are everywhere. But we're not ghost cases, we're unexplained cases. And so that includes cryptids, UFOs, lost history, missing persons, you name it. If there's something unexplained about it, we want to touch on it. Just because myself and Darren Dito, who we both started this thing, our background is broadcast television, so marketing, production for me, as well as radio for him, anchor reporting. So we bring all that to the table just to be able to really do some storytelling. But the lovely pandemic, as unfortunate as it is, did do something, I guess you could say, positive in the sense is that that's where these live shows came from. I'm not sure if we would have necessarily launched them if it hadn't been for that. But since we couldn't get out to stories, in May of 2020, we started doing live shows that eventually ended up on Pun TV, as well as YouTube and our own Facebook channel. So that way we're multi-streaming this Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. That's when folks can tune into that. But then they can find the versions archived on any of those sources. But the live show is just an attempt to really talk to interesting folks, such as yourself, as well as to dig a little deeper into topics that we might not be able to touch with the episodics, but also to be able to focus on remote viewing. And that's what Miriam, the medium, who's our other team member, she brings to the table. It's her ability to energetically go to a location, to be able to just map out what's going on, what she's experiencing, what she's seeing. And then you also mentioned Angela Boley. Angela is a psychic artist, and so very talented at her ability is to look into a space and whomever she sees to draw that, or in your case, who's around you. And so she does that. She's got a Facebook page that's got all of her portraits that she paints. Very talented individual. Oh yeah. And that's what we do every week is explore the paranormal field a little bit differently.
Excellent show. I love it. And and even Sharon, who's very sensitive, intuitive. I reached out to you about wanting to get my hands on those two, the drawing and the painting, and bring them here because I thought I would do a binding on them, which I'm sure your psychic has already done her version of a binding on that. But my wife, she asked me not to bring them here because she thought they were so legit and felt such energy off of them watching the show that she thought that may contribute to the activity we already have here in a negative way. So she asked me to please just kind of lay low and let them stay with your psychic for a while. But here's something else I want to ask you. And this is awfully personal. I apologize ahead of time. And if you don't want to talk about it, let's move right on off it. But I bring it up because your background, your resume goes on and on and on. You're a very talented person. And like thousands and thousands and thousands of other people, you've been affected in another way by this pandemic. And I didn't know if you wanted to take this opportunity. You never know who's watching. If you wanted to take an opportunity of this moment to give a shout out about yourself and what you're in need of, perhaps, or would you rather move on off that?
Oh, I don't mind mentioning that at all. I mean, I think that everything happens for a reason. And so this is not my first rodeo of being unemployed. So as much as we would love for what we're doing, which is a passion project, is what I guess you could call Unexplained Cases, to be able to fund life. That's not the case right now. So back in July of last year, I lost my full-time job working for the city of Baltimore, and actually also had a part-time job. Both of those ended up shutting down. So have not found employment since then, but I'm basically a contractor just looking for gig opportunities. So video editing, voiceovers, writing, copywriting, all of that good stuff. I'm available for that.
God bless you. You know, I told you once that I loved you and put you on the prayer list. You're still there. I do pray for you all the time. Things do happen for a
Thank you,
reason.
brother.
Brother, I'm telling you, things will happen. Keep the
Certainly.
faith. Stay strong. Things will happen.
Oh yeah, he's provided all along.
Adrian Hart, my producer, you were probably hoping I was just comfortable relaxing here watching these two talk, but you're not going to get off that easy. So, how you agreed to come on with the two of us is another testament to your passion and your bravery. So, let's talk. First of all, everybody, she's my producer. I wasn't joking. And next week, filling in for her because we're going to talk about where she's going is the one and only Rick Garner going to fill in. So if anything goes wrong with this show today, I got two producers to blame it on. I am just Adrian, Desert Hot Paranormal, co-owner of Paranormal United Network. You are going to, oh my gosh, is this on everybody's top of the bucket list of locations to investigate? You're going to Kentucky, to Waverly Hills. Before I have you tell us about, I want everybody to know ahead of time, it's sold out. I'm sorry, but I still want to talk about Waverly. I had a couple of telling you scary interviews with two people that had gone there to investigate. One had some outstanding spirit contact out on the property surrounding the building with, I believe the gentleman's name was Major Hayes, and there's a school teacher named Lizzie there, because before they built that building, there was a homestead there. It belonged to a major. They were kind of out in the boonies, and it's still out in the boonies, but he wanted his children to have schooling, so he built a schoolhouse. He brought a teacher there to live and actually be the teacher there. And a lot of people go to Waverly and investigate, but they forget to go out amongst the land, the cemetery, and investigate and ask to speak to the major or Lizzie. Keep that in mind. But another gentleman had a really bad encounter with, on the second floor, they thought a dog had gotten the building, and they followed this dog from one end of the building to the other, and actually downstairs to all the way to the other end of the building, thought they had it cornered, for this dog to only turn into like a half man, half dog thing that was crawling around on the walls and the ceiling. And a lot of real bad luck happened to this gentleman after coming in such close contact with this. I don't even know what you would call this entity. So I want you to talk. Ooh. Okay. Talk to everybody about this event coming up and what's going to be so special about what Paranormal United Network and you and everybody's putting together for this event.
Well, we have actually Jeremy York planned all this for us. He's an amazing planner. But what's been really neat about it is there's only 21 people that can go. And that's actually putting one over the limit of what can be there. But you don't get an opportunity very often to put that many minds together that we have the same goal, but we don't think alike at all. So everybody's doing a different experiment while they're there. Everybody's bringing their own talents while they're there. It's going to be really neat. And of course, this is a group of people that talk every day, and we finally get to meet them. So it's going to be neat.
I'm so jealous. I can't remember the last time I actually went out ghost hunting. When I finally got on the path to become ordained, that really took a big time backseat. And now I just work, cases usually in people's homes and stuff. But I admit I miss it. Like I said, Waverly Hills, if I was going to jump back on the horse to do a ghost hunt or a paranormal investigation, that's the place. But what kind of precautions, and I ask you this because I love you and I worry about you. What kind of precautions, because most of my clients, believe it or not, are ghost hunters. what precautions are you and the team is going to take before going into a place like this, the home of the White Plague? Who knows how many hundreds and hundreds of lives? I'm sure the tour people there know hundreds and hundreds of lives that were lost there, and I don't think there's another place like that as spiritly infested as that. So, what do you guys
Right.
do before investigating a place this ominous?
As for myself, I do, the prayer, white light. I have my oil and the salt that you gave me. I have a couple of crystals I take with me in my pocket. Got all bases covered. But yeah, that place, the graveyard that they talk about is not really a graveyard. It's a mass burial where there's not, there might be some markers there, but it's not, there's 2 or 3 in one grave, whatever it is. It was a mass burial, just trying to dispose of bodies that could infect other people. After it was, after the antibiotics, it was a type of elderly home, and it housed dementia patients, and it housed very severe mentally ill children. Mm-hmm. And from the research I've been doing, people I've been talking to, there was a lot of rape, murder, molestation. So it's not a nice place. I mean, it might have been when it was a schoolhouse, but I'm sure the energy there is not pleasant. There's got to be pain, fear, anger. So we're going to get all in one.
Well, when I actually know that while you guys are there, know that I will be praying for you guys, and I know that you guys are going to have a blast. And everybody's going to be safe and all that. But wow, what a scary place. And yeah, I know that people have to make. Somebody owns the property, and they let people come and do investigations there, and everybody has to survive. I wouldn't if I didn't need a little extra cash just to. It's I'm not embarrassed to say that since the pandemic, it feels like my wife and I are like 1 or 2 paychecks always away from being homeless. And I go and I deal with the homeless a lot. And it's a scary thing. Everybody's struggling. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't ask for a donation. But they have to make money and survive too. But I wonder how they would feel if somebody like you came for an investigation and really they could tell that you were setting out to try and help extremely troubled patients now in spirit form to cross over and move on and move past this eternal torment that in the spirit world they must be experiencing. I wonder if they care about that, or if they say that's not what we're about. Don't rock the boat. This is our bread and butter. Come and experience, but don't try and intervene. I mean, do they talk about that? Do you and the teams talk about do's and don'ts when you're there?
Yes, that's not one of them. I haven't run into a place that has specifically said don't, but regardless of what was said, if a spirit asks me to help, I'm going to. And, as we all know, you can speak to a spirit without any words. Nobody needs to know what you're doing. Nobody needs to know the conversation you're having. That's between you and that person and that spirit. And yeah, I would never refuse if I thought I could help them. But that's not something both. I need to go back to.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you both to chime in on this. There's 2 theories. One theory is that the person is the same when they pass over as they were when they lived life. I do believe some extremely angry, evil people are like that. But I've talked to so many people, like even the last 2 years of my father's life and the last year of my mother's life, when they spent their fair share in homes for the elderly. People would come up to me if I went in there with my Ghost Be Gone shirt on or a hat on. I would have nurses, male and female, come up to me on the kind of on the down low. I shouldn't be talking to you about this because I'd get in trouble, but this place is haunted off the hook, and you should try to work it in to come here late one night and just kind of roam around. Do you guys think that a lot of these children, and regardless of what age they were, the extreme mentally disturbed, you'd love to think that once they expire and they're out of their body and into the spiritual realm, that now they're better. Do you believe they're better? Or do you think they remain mentally ill in spirit after passing?
Ladies first.
That's debatable, but I heard somebody tell me one time that they had went to a cemetery. Matter of fact, it was on this show. Had went to a cemetery and spoke to a child spirit, and that had autism, I believe, severe autism, that couldn't speak, and it was still the same way. At that point, still very confused, still unable to speak. I also think people that are mean and nasty in this life, they're not going to not be mean and nasty. You know, their spirit's mean and nasty until we move on to wherever it is we got to go, and we either get judged or reincarnated, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but I think if they're here, they're the same as they were.
Yeah. Mr. Garner, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, I would tend to agree on that level, because I mean, there's from the concept of, if you're thinking about, like, for someone, let's say, being a believer and basically, you know, go to heaven, there's, you know, the concept of being healed, no more pain, no more suffering. But then that's where my thought is that individual is so far removed, then I generally wonder that any interactivity that's closer, for whatever reason, whether it's purgatory, whether there's not a belief, whatever the case may be, that they're that close, that there is basically, you know, there hasn't been that moving on, that healing, if you will. So there is definitely going to be, you know, if someone's nasty, well, they're still nasty. If they were good, well, they're still good. If there's, you know, some form of mental illness or detachment, that's still present there, basically.
I know this is going to be a weird question. You both are blessed. You both are blessed people. I almost know what the answer is going to be, but maybe not. You might surprise me. If you were given the opportunity to remain as a ghost and haunt after this journey is over, the current journey you're on, or just go ahead and be, you know, part of the ages and move on into, you know, heaven. We all want to go to heaven, but if part of the decision of remaining behind would be to help this field move on by really doing your best as a spirit to show proof that life after death exists, would that still be worth sticking around and being a ghost? Or are you done? Once this journey's over, are you done and I'm out of here?
See, I think Adrian might agree with me that if part of that sticking around is an opportunity to haunt you, then that would be okay. That would be fine.
Hey, get in line. Has anybody seen anything behind me? I'm not even looking. I don't even want to look at my computer screen. Because I'll tell you, I'm only human. God gave me the emotions that I have, and I still get startled. And if I see the woman who was crying in my ear the other night, or whoever was me that scared my wife, walk past the room or come in here and blow out my candle and sit down and want to take my spot here, I'm going to probably scream like a little girl. No one will look at me ever the same again.
We all might, so it's fine.
You know, the glasses are going one way, the headphones are going another way, and I'm going to get up and run out of the room. And TMI, I don't got pants on. So Um,
It's that kind of
but
show.
it only because I'm going to be scared.
Yes. Yeah, I'm more interested if your little
Don't say little around me. I'm scared.
the spirit catcher or whatever
I'm
behind
tired of
you.
that. I'm tired of hearing little. I'm 5'6".
See, come on.
You get what you see. I'm Irish and I'm 5'6". You get what you see.
Come on.
Don't act like it's a big surprise.
Work with me, people. Work with me. See, I'm more interested if that starts spinning, on your ceiling. That's the guy that usually starts moving. So
You're right.
It does.
Yes.
Right there, the dream catcher.
Yes.
All righty. Well, listen, it's almost 20 till. Let me see. I have some questions from some of your fans. And then, like I said, we have 3 people in the green room waiting to come on and talk about their new show. Adrian, you have another event coming up going to Oklahoma, and I'm not going to answer the question. Oklahoma, only 2 things come out of Oklahoma. I'm not going to go there, but my family, my father's family is all from that region. That event looks like it's going to rock. And can people join in on this event? Tell everybody about the Oklahoma event.
What we're doing, we're gonna go full bore on planning that as soon as we get back from Waverly. But Ashley Storm is actually going to be kind of our host there, and it's a Broken Bow Asylum is what it is. And I've always wanted to do a jail or a prison or an asylum. So yes, I'm strange. So August 13th and 14th. We're going to be there. It's going to be kind of a Paracon type thing. We are going to offer booths. The price is not known yet. We're going to try to figure out how many we're going to have to be able to do that, because we need to offset the cost of the building and things like that, but we don't want to overcharge. So we're trying to see how many want a table and then kind of go from there on charging. It's going to be another one of these, just like Waverly. Everybody getting together, meeting new people. Some of the ones that couldn't go this time will be able to go next time, because a little closer to some and a little different part of the world. And we're hoping to plan one more, but we don't know yet if we're going to be able to. And we're actually, hopefully by this fall, maybe this winter, we're going to head toward Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They do have an event here in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, December 9th, 10th, and 11th, I believe. And I think, I could be wrong, and I hate giving this guy a plug because he doesn't need one. Jason Hawes, I believe, is one of the people putting together the Las Vegas Para-Unity Convention. And that's going to be huge here. Are you planning to come around that time or before? Or?
Probably before that.
Very, very cool. Yeah, my wife and I were just talking about the other day, maybe getting a booth there. Are you coming out here to have an event or just hang out, come say hi?
We're looking at having an event, yes.
Well, if that's the case, plan on me being a part of that if you do make it out here, because, I mean, it's my hometown, so.
See, the Rev is an event within an event.
Right. Right. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see what else I got here before we bring on our special guests. Nothing else I can think of other than the network. The Paranormal United Network. I give them a big shout out. They simulcast my show. Everybody there has been so great to me. You, Adrian, especially. Rick, not so much.
Understandable.
So many great things happening to that. And anybody watching the show, the Paranormal United Network has a Facebook Live page. This show is being simulcast there right now, I think, as we speak. If you like my show, and if you do, you got to get out more. But if you like my show, go over there, check out their lineup, because they have a lot of shows over there way better than mine. Great lineup. And there's so many wonderful things happening to that network. either one of you want to chime in on Roku and any other big plans for the network before I bring on our other guests?
Well, I think Adrian might be able to speak a little bit more to the Roku action, which is pretty sweet and in development. But I would just encourage folks to like, comment, share. That just helps the page out there, basically. So just be sure and just toss that out and take advantage of all the different programmings that's on that. And there's also a second channel as well. I like to compare it to, like, you've got ESPN and ESPN2. Well, you've got Pun TV, you've got Pun TV too. So check out that, because there's other programs that are on that as well.
Are there programs that are on Paranormal United Network too that aren't on the Paranormal United Network?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I did not know that. See, I learn something new every day.
Yes.
I did not know that. I'm going to thank you for telling me that. I will start pushing that other page. But the network is wonderful, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And you know, I won't take it personal. Anytime you think me or my show is tanking, just pull the plug. I know you guys will still. I know you guys will still love me. I don't take stuff personal. But okay, listen. I can't see anything on my notes here any more important than everybody wanting to meet the 3 stars of the new show that I believe is going to premiere on the Paranormal United Network sometime this summer. I don't have an actual air date. But the 3 people are 3 extraordinarily talented, gifted, passionate entertainers, elite paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, you name it. And they got a new show coming out, Return to Mod Squad, which stands for Malevolence Onsight Detectives. And they're going to come on right now. I'm going to get them out of the green room to rant a little bit about the State of the Union paranormal address. So we've got, coming to the show here in a few minutes, Ghost Cougar-PI, MaveRick, not James Garner's son, and Pastor Pillsberry. And we will be right back with these 3 guests. Hello.
Hey, what's
Where's
up,
everybody? Hey, it's my teammates. How you guys doing? Thanks, Rev. That guy. Ghost Cougar, MaveRick.
Haven't seen you two since the strip club.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to get up and show you my tummy to poke it so everybody can see why they call me Pillsbury.
Been missing that tummy.
Glad to see you all here today. Now, this is, you know, it's not in our nature to rant much. That's what mostly this, you know, when and if this show gets off the ground, and there's a lot of support for it, and it's going to be hit and miss depending on, you know, what kind of investigations the 3 of us are out doing. So today's going to be about ranting a little bit without getting too ugly. Who wants to go first?
You know, I always like. Oh, see, now I was going to say ladies first there. So, you know, I mean, I'm just that kind of guy there. But, you know, I'll be happy to kick things off if we want to there. You know, it drives me nuts, basically, how folks just think that they can just walk into, like, I think of a cemetery, for example. You know, you just walk in there and you're going to do an investigation, and it's just going to be cool. And you've taken no time to protect yourself from what's going to be in there, because I'm looking for something cool, and I'm looking for something creepy, and I'm looking for something sensational. And it's like, okay, 2 things. Number 1, you got to protect yourself. You got to be able. Now, how you do that, I'd say that's entirely up to you. But otherwise, make sure you're covered You've got some prayers, you got some covering, you got some protection going into it. It doesn't matter if it's a cemetery. It doesn't matter if it's a B&B or abandoned. Do that. That's number one. And number two, if you don't get any evidence or whatever, don't fake it. Don't be sensational. Don't run around, ooh, or whatever like that. Yeah, it makes for good TV, but it's not real. Come on, we need real stuff. That's all I got to say about that.
Very interesting. And when you were talking about going into a cemetery, protecting yourself, I have a Cajun friend who simply just, he's got pierced nipples, and he just does this before he goes into an investigation. And that seems to be his protection. It's whatever works. He learned that somewhere in the bayou, and it works for him. So God bless him. And that's
his name's not Howard, is it? His name's not Howard, is it?
That works, and you were very professional and not really calling anybody out, but anybody who spent any time. I watched a good show last night. I'm gonna throw something good in. You don't have to have 3 big black vans with 15 investigators and thousands of dollars of equipment and put the paranormal gauntlet down on a location. I watched that new show, Expedition X, hosted by the tall dude, heavy set, several shows he's had over the years, kind of funny guy. Who am I thinking of?
I'm having a brain cramp.
Expedition X, he's got this one girl, one guy, sends them out. One's a skeptic, one's not, to locations that he picks for them. He narrates the show. Josh Gates. And the show's great, and that's all they need. And they don't fake nothing. They get it. They get it. If they don't, they don't. I love that.
Exactly.
And we had this last year. I don't think we ever experienced a tidal wave of paranormal reality TV shows that hit the networks all at once. And you're right. They just dropped like flies. A few stuck. Well, you throw enough of you know what on the wall, some of it's going to stick. God bless them. Ghost Cougar. I'm almost afraid to ask.
As you should be. Should be.
What has crawled up your craw? And is it still there?
Okay. It's lingering, but it's disappearing. Let's talk about people that go investigate with people. Of course, you go investigate with people you don't know, and somebody decides to bring something malevolent and turn it loose, or somebody decides to play in the dark side where they don't know what they're doing and have no idea the repercussions of what's going to happen. Maybe not to them, maybe to the people around them. But which, obviously, rule of 3. And, it's in the 7-fold rule. It's going to come back. And it's going to come back 7-fold, whether you're nice or whether you're mean. So these people that, don't dabble in the dark side, period. But if you're going to do it, stay on the dark side. Stay with those kind of people. Leave the others alone. Just don't.
Well said. Well said. And I do know people that do that. It's and here, the Rev, I talked to the Rev, and he's got so many friends from all different walks of life, different religious belief systems, different practices, Wiccan, witchcraft, the right witchcraft, the left witchcraft, people into Santeria and voodoo and Southern hoodoo. I don't judge, the Rev don't judge, but when you pervert and twist and manipulate these belief systems into doing your bidding, into something evil, with evil intent, I should say, that's bad. And God bless you if you want to, like you said, Cougar, want to do it in your own privacy of your own little coven. God bless you, but don't try and drag other people down that abyss with you. So here, what do we got? a little bit of time left. Here's my rant. First of all, been talking to a lot of young people. The next generation ghost hunters coming up. Some very talented youngsters come to me. They got no money. Cheap. You can still get them. Cheap. Handheld voiceover recorder that takes the little cassette decks. Cheap. Easy to use. They work great. Cheap. Throwaway cameras from the drugstore, 35 millimeter. When I'm done taking the photos, I take them in. I tell the guy, give me hard photos and give me a disc. I upload everything into the computer with the disc. I take the photos. I love to look at them. I love stuff in my hands. I look at the photos. Anything good, I put them in photo albums. I love photo albums. Cheap. Then you throw the camera away. Everybody's got one of these. My phone, great still photography, great video, great audio. There's your phone. There's another piece of equipment. So it can all be done cheap. Now here's my serious rant. Everybody's been reaching out to me wanting to be pissed off at me for all of the people in my field that are charging for over the phone, Skype, Zoom, Facebook Live exorcisms for money, lots of money sometimes. Anybody watching this show right now who thinks that they are in a location that is demonically infested, somebody in the family or everyone in the family is severely demonically oppressed, God forbid, knock on wood, somebody is possessed in the home, and you start looking for help. If you look for somebody and they have a website, go over that website with a fine-tooth comb, and if there's anything in there that mentions a price charging for exorcism over the phone or over the internet or over Skype or Zoom, move on to the next website. If it doesn't mention anything and you go in to talk to this individual, put their feet to the fire, ask them if there's going to be a charge for this. If there is any kind of charge, thank them very much for their time, move on to the next person you find in the exorcist directory. It can't be done. I belong to one of the largest, and the Rev 2 belongs to one of the largest exorcism networks in the world, and I've asked time and time again, can this be done? No, it cannot be done. I do practice, and the Rev practice, exorcism by distance. That's me making a phone call, sending out a mass email, sending out mass private messages to the exorcism network that I'm a part of, telling them that I'm going to physically be at this location on this day at this time. This is the name of the client. This is the demon I'm dealing with. Could everybody in the world that's got a message at the time drop everything they're doing and drop into prayer for me and for my client at that moment? There's power in prayer. That is one thing that I perform, but I would never think of asking anybody for money. If they want to donate something to me for my hard work and my faith in my belief system, great, but I do not charge to do that. Exorcisms you should not charge for, especially trying to do over the phone deliverance, any of that. It doesn't work. You can counsel and tell people what you think they should do to help themselves out of their own situation, but it's a big no-no, and I know everybody's got to make a buck, but like I said, that's a big no-no, and if you guys want to chime in on that, you're welcome. And that's all I wanted to say, because I've had so many people call me up. I don't trust you guys. You're all, I don't even want to use the language people throw me, so I'm not going to give you a dime. If you can help me, then help me. But I've already spent a lot of money on a bunch of fake dudes that just took my money and didn't help. And if you charge money, then let me know now so I can hang up in your face and move on to the next guy. And so once I clear that up, and now I'm up against the 8 ball, because this person's already upset. already emotionally hanging on by his fingernails to the edge of the abyss because of what he's already dealing with, and now he's been beat over the head time and time again by these poser exorcists, self-proclaimed, ordained exorcists that are just, just not good. So, having said that, we got a few minutes left. Do you guys want to comment on what I just ranted about?
Hey, totally agree. I mean, that dovetails even to what I was talking about. Was just like if when you have individuals that are charging for stuff, just like if you have individuals that want to sensationalize or fake evidence, both of those things, just go ahead and rub them together and make a crap sandwich, basically, because that's the kind of thing that's going to impact legitimate folks in the field. I mean, it soils the field because, just like you said, folks are like, "Oh, you're all the same." There's the stereotype, and it's like, well, no, you've had a very unfortunate experience with somebody, but it doesn't mean that that's everyone's like that.
Absolutely, Cougar.
I'm kind of wondering, do you think maybe some of these people that are bringing some of this stuff are the ones charging to get rid of it?
Oh my gosh, that's a great. That is that would be an awful thing to find out that was happening, and it doesn't matter, paranormal investigator, ghost hunter, spiritual warfare, producing these things. And I have a lot of, to what Rick had said earlier, I know people who have lived in legitimately haunted places and have been approached by this TV show or that TV show. Could they film there? And I'm here to tell you, 99.9% of them said when I got to looking at the fine print of the contract, it said, "Are we okay with faking stuff?" And that's when these people said, "I can't allow you to film here because I'm so not about that." So it's everywhere, and it's even the producers. And so whatever branch of the paranormal community you're attached to under the overall paranormal community umbrella, it's all about what you bring to the table and legitimacy and your passion and all of that sort of stuff. So it's just sad, and that's what keeps us as a field from advancing, and why so many people that aren't in our field really look at us like we're just a bunch of, and I'm not going to use the language that's been thrown at me, but it is what it is. It's always been this way. It'll always be this way. People like us have to stay strong, and if you get a chance to pass the torch back, like lately I have been with some younger, passionate, talented, up-and-coming Ghostbusters, that's one of the points that I try and drive home. So, with just moments left here, Ghost Cougar, I love you. You are going to be sorely missed next week. My producer next week, filling in for you, will be the one and only. I don't know where he's not on camera right now, but Rick Garner. MaveRick, when you see Rick after the show, tell him I'm looking forward to having him run my show next week. And my guest next week is the author of this book, God's Road to Manson and Me by Rick Jones. He is a retired correctional officer, and for years and years and years, he looked after Charles Manson. And that's what led him, his relationship with Charles Manson, led him to writing that book. That's going to be a great interview. But like I said, I don't have a show without all of you that have tuned in. Adrian Hart, my producer, Rick Garner, my friend that always jumps in and helps out whenever we need, the Paranormal United Network, and on and on and on. I love you both. Thank you both so very much for being here. And everybody that tuned in, I want to say, stop the violence, stop the anger, start working on self-respect, and then throw out the respect. You can't get respect if you don't give it, and we got to start somewhere. Start inside, then respect everybody. Anger is just a punishment we put on ourselves for somebody else's mistakes. So I don't have a show without all of you. So God bless you all for tuning in. I'll see you all next week. On that note, good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. Good night, Adrian. Good night, Rick. Peace.